Science is a challenge to make known the unknown. A search for certainty in a world full of uncertainty. And a constant journey to create and recreate. From across the world, scientists devote their days and nights to finding the wrongs and rights. They untie the knots from the past by asking questions we never dared to ask. The knowledge they have brought to us bestows legacies unsurpassed, opening up infinite possibilities that pave the way to an even better life for humanity. Celebration of excellence in science and research lies at the heart of the Shaw Prize, one of the most internationally prestigious awards in academic and scientific research or applications. The prize was established by Mr. Run Run Shaw in 2002 with a clear vision to honor contributors to astronomy, life science and medicine, and mathematical sciences, regardless of race, nationality, gender, and religious belief. 2021 is the 18th year the prize is being awarded. Over nearly 2 decades, more than 90 scientists and researchers have been awarded the Shaw Prize. Their contributions in their respective domains improve our quality of life at all levels and inspire and promote greater and broader advancement in scientific research. In the future, the Shaw Prize will continue to support the progress of scientific research, to move technological development forward, and to unveil the deepest mysteries of our universe. Welcome to the 2021 Shaw Prize Awards ceremony. I'm Leon Ko, your host for today. If 2020 is a year of adversity, 2021 is definitely a year of possibility. In spring, we were given a glimpse of hope with the rollout of COVID vaccine. In summer, we celebrated moments of sportsmanship that brought the world closer together after prolonged separation. And here we are, towards the end of 2021, hopefully reaching the end of the tunnel. Even though, due to travel bans and restrictions, it is still not possible to bring back the traditional in-person ceremony, we are delighted to meet all of you here again virtually. Today is a celebration of scientific triumphs. We have 5 laureates this year, all of whom have made fundamental contributions to their respective fields. To begin, let's welcome the chairman of the Board of Adjudicators, Professor Frank Hsu, for the opening speech. Professor Hsu, please.
Welcome to the 18th Annual Shaw Prize Award presentation ceremony. In 2002, Sir Run Run Shaw and Mrs. Mona Shaw established the Shaw Prize to honor scientists in the fields of astronomy, life science and medicine, and mathematical sciences. The inaugural award ceremony took place in 2004. In the ensuing years, the Shaw's entrepreneurship and philanthropy inspired the quest for new knowledge, highlighted outstanding achievements, and became a major force for progress in the world. Travel restrictions during the pandemic again forced this year's Shaw Prize presentations to a virtual ceremony. The methods of remote assembly have now become familiar. We are proud to be able to continue the founding vision of Mr. and Mrs. Shaw in promoting scientific discoveries whose beacons of truth and long-standing contributions to society only shine brighter in these difficult times. This year, we honor 5 scientists in 3 designated fields for their distinguished contributions. They are Professors Victoria Caspi and Krista Kovaliotou in astronomy, Professor Scott Emma in life science and medicine, and Professors Jean-Michel Bismuth and Jeff Cheeger in mathematical sciences. Today, we are happy to have Mrs. Carrie Lam, the Chief Executive of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region, to give a congratulatory message to our 5 laureates. Mrs. Lam has always been an inspiring and loyal advocate of the Shaw Prize and a dedicated leader in supporting global communication between the world's top scientists and our young, aspiring achievers. It is our deep honor to have Mrs. Lam's participation again this year, despite the difficult situation during this unprecedented time.
Thank you, Professor Hsu. We are honored to invite the Chief Executive of the Hong Kong Administrative Region, the Honorable Mrs. Carrie Lam, to say a few words for us. Mrs. Lam, please.
Raymond, Professor Hsu, Shaw Laureates, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2021 Shaw Prize Award ceremony. For today's awards, which is the 18th edition, my thanks to the Shaw Prize Foundation and its visionary management and mandate. I'm grateful as well to the Board of Adjudicators and the selection committees. The board and the selection committees for the 3 disciplines, life science and medicine, astronomy and mathematical sciences, have this year selected 5 Shaw laureates. I'm honored to congratulate them for their groundbreaking contributions and for advancing our understanding of life, the world we inhabit, and the universe that surrounds us. The COVID-19 pandemic that has ravaged the world for over 18 months has again reminded us of the importance of basic research in sciences and global cooperation and solidarity. Scientists in many parts of the world have raced against time to enhance our testing capacity and produce vaccines to keep people safe. For Hong Kong, the commitment and investment we have made in innovation and technology in recent years have also paid off, as reflected in the many applications adopted in our fight against the pandemic. Looking ahead, especially in light of the support given by the central authorities in the nation's 14th five-year plan for Hong Kong to develop an international innovation and technology hub, the government will continue to accord policy priority to press ahead with Hong Kong's science and technology development. Since talent is a key part of the endeavor, we have recently launched the Global STEM Professorship Scheme to resource our universities to recruit international scholars for INT-related teaching and research. I'm glad that the feedback from the universities has been very positive. My congratulations to this year's Shaw Prize laureates. I applaud your seminal accomplishments and your continuing progress in building a better world through scientific research and development. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Lam. The Shaw Prize consists of 3 awards, namely the Prize in Astronomy, Life Science and Medicine, and Mathematical Sciences. Recipients of the prize are all internationally acclaimed scholars and scientists. Each year, the selection committees and board of adjudicators ensure that the highest standards of the selection and adjudication process laid by the Shaw Prize are kept. The nomination and judging of the Shaw Prize 2021 commenced in September 2020, and the results were announced in June 2021. The first prize of today is the Shaw Prize in Astronomy. May I now invite the chairman of the selection committee for the Shaw Prize in Astronomy, Professor Reinhard Gansel, to introduce the laureates of this year. Professor Gansel is the director and scientific member at the Max Planck Institute for Extraterrestrial Physics, honorary professor at the Ludwig Maximilian University in Munich, Germany, and professor in the graduate school at University of California, Berkeley, USA. He's one of our Shaw laureates in 2008 and was awarded the 2020 Nobel Prize in Physics. Professor Genzel, please.
The 2021 Shaw Prize in Astronomy is awarded in equal parts to Victoria Caspi, McGill University, Canada, and Krista Kuveliotou, George Washington University, US, for their contributions to the discovery and understanding of magnetars, a class of highly magnetized neutron stars that are linked to a wide range of spectacular, transient astrophysical phenomena. Their work has established magnetars as a new and an important class of astrophysical objects. Neutron stars are ultra-compact remnants of explosions of massive stars, which have exhausted their fuel for generating energy through fusion and then collapse under their own gravity. Most young neutron stars are rapidly rotating with periods of milliseconds to seconds, and many of them emit powerful beams of electromagnetic radiation, observed as pulsars. Pulsars have strong magnetic fields, since the magnetic field of the progenitor star is frozen into the stellar remnant as it collapses to become a neutron star. These magnetic fields funnel jets of particles along the magnetic poles, but classic radio pulsars are powered mainly by rotation energy and slowly spin down over their lifetime. The research of Caspi and Kuveliotou was motivated by the theoretical prediction of Duncan and Thomson in 1992 that neutron stars with magnetic fields up to 1,000 times stronger than those in regular pulsars could form if the so-called dynamo mechanism for generating magnetic fields were efficient enough during the first few seconds after gravitational collapse in the core of the progenitor star. Such objects, henceforth termed magnetars, would be powered by their large reservoirs of magnetic energy and not rotation, and were predicted to produce highly energetic bursts of gamma rays by generating highly energetic ionized particle pairs at their centers. Magnetars have magnetic field strength of 10 to the 10 Tesla or 10 to the 14 Gauss, 100 million times stronger than any human-made magnet, and among the strongest magnetic objects throughout the universe. In 1998-99, Krista Kuveliotou and her colleagues discovered a class of variable X-ray gamma ray sources called soft gamma ray repeaters and identified them as magnetars, thus providing a stunning confirmation of the Duncan-Thomson model. By developing new techniques for pulse timing at X-ray wavelength and applying these to data from the Orossi X-ray timing satellite, Kuveliotou was able to detect X-ray pulses with a period of 7.5 seconds within the persistent X-ray emission of an object called Sagittarius 1806-20. She then measured the spin-down rate for the pulsar and derived both the pulsar age and the magnetic field strength. The spin-down measurements were extremely challenging because of the faintness of the pulse signal and the need for correcting the rotation phase across multiple epochs. In 2002, Victoria Caspi showed that a second class of rare X-ray emitting pulsars, the anomalous X-ray pulsars, were also magnetars. Caspi adapted techniques used by radio astronomers to maintain phase coherence and made extremely accurate timing measurements of X-ray pulsars. Applied over intervals of months to years, she was then able to determine very low spin-down rates. Caspi also has made fundamental contributions to the characterization of magnetars as a population by elucidating their physical properties and their relationship to the classic radio pulsars. Today, magnetars are routinely invoked to explain the physics underlying a diverse range of astrophysical transients, including gamma ray bursts, superluminous supernovae, and nascent neutron stars. The Shaw Prize 2021 recognizes the seminal contributions of Vicky Caspi and Krissa Kuvelyutu to the understanding of the enigmatic properties of magnetars and pulsars.
Thank you, Professor Gansel. Rome was not built in a day, and scientific discoveries are never made overnight. Only with scientists' persistence and perseverance are we able to enjoy the scientific advances that are benefiting our life in every aspect. This year, the Shaw Prize in Astronomy is awarded to Professor Victoria Caspi and Professor Krissa Kuvelyutu for their contribution to our understanding of magnetars. May I first invite Professor Victoria Caspi, Professor of Physics and Director of McGill Space Institute of the McGill University, Canada, to deliver her acceptance speech. Professor Caspi, please.
Dear Chairman of the Shaw Prize Foundation, Chairman of the Board of Adjudicators, members of the Shaw Prize Council and Selection Committees, Chief Executive of HKSAR, colleagues, and friends. It's a tremendous honor to accept the 2021 Prize for Astronomy together with my friend and colleague Krissa Kuvelyutu for our work on magnetars. I've long admired Krissa and her ingenuity, accomplishment, and dedication, and it's a special treat and privilege to be co-awarded so prestigious a prize side by side with her. The research recognized here was greatly supported in many ways by many people. First, I'm grateful for the excellent, stimulating atmosphere and for my wonderful colleagues and students in the Department of Physics and the McGill Space Institute at McGill University, where the bulk of this research was carried out. Je suis aussi très reconnaissante pour le soutien de mon programme de recherche en magnetars par les agences canadiennes, y compris le Conseil de recherche en sciences naturelles et en génie, les recherches du Fonds de recherche du Québec Nature et Technologie, the Canadian Institute for Advanced Research et la Fondation familiale Trottier pour leur soutien du chaire de recherche Trottier en astrophysique et cosmologie et au Institut spatial de McGill. I would also like to express gratitude for the generous open skies policies that NASA and ESA have for their astronomy satellites, and particularly for their X-ray missions, the Rossi X-ray Timing Explorer, SWIFT, Chandra, and XMM Newton. This research would not have been possible without it, particularly once I had left the US for Canada, my present home. There are many colleagues who played a role in my study of magnetars. They are too many to list, but a few particular notables who contributed key analysis, ideas or insights, or who did significant work at various times over the years are Deepto Chakrabarty, Pete Woods, Fotis Gavril, Reem Deeb, Scott Olison. I also acknowledge the massive contributions to the field by Kevin Hurley, Sandro Marighetti, Luigi Stella, Nando Rea, and of course, theorists Rob Duncan and Chris Thompson, who first hypothesized the existence of magnetars and who laid a foundation for the interpretation of the observations made by my groups and Krissa's. Lastly, I would like to thank my family, in particular my sister and brother-in-law Terry and Moshe for their continuous support, and my husband David Langlaben and my children Ian, Julia, and Haley for their encouragement and support. Thank you.
Congratulations, Professor Caspi. We all know there is no shortcut to success. Hard work is one of the keys that makes science work. And another, as brought up by Professor Caspi, is teamwork. The next Shaw Laureate in Astronomy 2021 is Professor Krissa Kuvelyutu, Professor and Chair of the Department of Physics at George Washington University, USA. I now invite Professor Kuvelyutu to give her acceptance speech. Professor Kuvelyutu, please.
I saw the message that I was awarded the Shaw Prize in Astronomy late at night in Washington, D.C. As I was reading on, I was overwhelmed with a lot of sentiments, including gratitude, appreciation, and indeed amazement. And when it all sunk in after many sleepless hours, alternating feelings of humility, pride, and joy. I'm grateful to the Shaw Prize Foundation and the Shaw family for their support and perseverance through the COVID-19 tragedy. I recognize and appreciate the insight and far-sightedness of Sir Run Shaw, the initiator of the Shaw Awards, that made it possible to bring under the spotlight 3 important research areas. I am grateful to my family, who were my unwavering support and safe haven during my 40-some-year career in high-energy astrophysics. And last but not least, to my colleagues. They are my friends, my teachers, my collaborators, and my partners in solving scientific mysteries. The current pandemic has demonstrated how vulnerable humans are and how fragile our ecosystem is. It also abundantly demonstrated the importance of science and technology. In the record time of a few months, a vaccine was developed employing innovative tools to fight the global threat of a new virus. We're not yet done with fighting COVID-19, but humanity has proven its determination, resilience, and survival skills. I bow to the people who fight the pandemic every day, and I express my condolences to the families and friends who lost loved ones everywhere on Earth. I am delighted that while we cannot all meet together face to face this year, I can still reach out to all of you through this speech. It is with high gratitude and joy that I humbly accept the 2021 Shaw Prize in Astronomy. I am looking forward to the opportunity to celebrate with my colleagues in person in Hong Kong the great honor bestowed to me by the Shaw Prize Foundation. I cannot imagine a more exuberant circumstance.
Congratulations, Professor Cuvelio-too, and thank you for your warm words that are much needed at this difficult time. Now, let's move on to the second prize of today, the Shaw Prize in Life Science and Medicine. It is my pleasure to introduce the chairman of the selection committee for the Shaw Prize in Life Science and Medicine, Professor Bonnie Bassler. Professor Bassler is a Howard Hughes Medical Institute investigator and the Squibb Professor and Chair of the Department of Molecular Biology at Princeton University, USA. She was awarded the Shaw Prize in Life Science and Medicine in 2015. Professor Bassler, please.
Dr. Scott Emmer is the recipient of the 2021 Shaw Prize in Life Science and Medicine for the landmark discovery of the escort pathway, which is essential in diverse processes involving membrane biology, including cell division, cell surface receptor regulation, viral dissemination, and nerve axon pruning. These processes are central to life, health, and disease. For life to be possible, cells, the building blocks of all living things, must put particular biocomponents in the proper locations and at the proper times. One can think of the cell as a home with different rooms that have distinct purposes: living room, dining room, bedroom. In the context of the cell, these spaces are called compartments, and like the rooms in a home, they have dedicated functions. Therefore, to construct a cell, its components, especially proteins and lipids that constitute the membrane barriers surrounding each compartment, must be accurately sorted to and properly assembled at the correct destination and at the right time. The discoveries made by this year's Shaw Laureate in Life Science and Medicine, Dr. Scott D. Emmer, provided groundbreaking insights into the composition, dynamics, and assembly of a specialized subset of these membrane-enclosed compartments. Among the cell compartments with discrete functions are organelles. Transport of materials to organelles can be via vesicles, small, fluid-filled and protein-containing sacs surrounded by lipid membranes. In pioneering studies, Emmer identified genes in yeast, a model microbial cell that has compartments that specify the components required to build an organelle. He identified 40 genes that make up the components of the so-called escort pathway. ESCORT stands for endosomal sorting complex required for transport. Dr. Emmer combined molecular, biochemical, and structural approaches to characterize the 40 escort proteins, defining their individual and combined roles. His work revealed that escort is a biomachine that ensures vesicles and their cargoes are trafficked to distinct subcellular organelles. Understanding the role of each protein had a transformative impact on our knowledge about the molecular basis of intracellular vesicle-mediated protein trafficking. Dr. Emmer showed that different lipids function as specific organelle addresses that dictate the precise sequential progression of vesicle transport from one organelle destination to the next. In a series of truly pathfinding discoveries, Dr. Emmer and his colleagues demonstrated that remarkably, it takes 5 escort subcomplexes for full transport between the various destinations. Dr. Emmer defined the components of each of the 5 escort machines, and he showed that the 5 biomachines function in an assembly line-like pathway. In dogma-shattering work, Dr. Emmer discovered that the escort machinery bends vesicle membranes inward and away from the cell cytoplasm, establishing a new paradigm in membrane biology. Escort-directed bending of membranes away from the cytoplasm is now accepted as a universal mechanism widely used by cells. Membrane bending is crucial for many vital processes, including the regulation of signaling by cell surface receptors, the separation of daughter cells during cell division, the budding of viruses like HIV from a host cell, allowing the spread of infection to new cells, and for the pruning of neuronal axons, a requirement for normal brain development. Mutations in the escort pathway have been shown to produce profound defects in development, resulting in embryonic lethality. Thus, Dr. Emmer's stunning contributions have uniquely illuminated the pathways and mechanisms involved in membrane trafficking, a process that is central to life from yeast to humans.
Thank you, Professor Bassler. Basic research is the unsung hero in science. Its importance is far from basic. Rather, it lays the solid groundwork for innumerable scientific breakthroughs, including some of the greatest discoveries in humankind. This year's Shaw Prize in Life Science and Medicine is awarded to Professor Scott Emmer, Frank H.T. Rhodes Class of 1956, Professor of Molecular Biology and Genetics and Director of the Weill Institute for Cell and Molecular Biology at Cornell University, USA. We will now invite Professor Emmer to give his acceptance speech. Professor Emmer, please.
I am honored to accept the 2021 Shaw Prize in Life Sciences and Medicine. I am very grateful to the Shaw Prize Foundation. I appreciate the Foundation's commitment to recognizing fundamental achievements in basic science. I also want to thank the scientists serving on the selection committee. It is especially rewarding to be chosen by one's peers for such a prestigious award. I am humbled to be included among such an accomplished and amazing group of former Shaw Prize winners. It is a privilege to be an academic scientist with the freedom to follow one's own intuition and curiosity as we establish our independent research programs. Indeed, when I started my lab at the California Institute of Technology in the early 1980s, I never imagined where our research efforts would take us. However, I was confident that applying the tools of genetics and molecular biology would ultimately lead us in the right direction. My group started out addressing a fundamental question in cell biology. That is, how do cells build a subcellular compartment or organelle? Specifically, we set out to identify the machinery that directs the sorting and delivery of proteins and lipids to the lysosome, one of the membrane-bound compartments inside cells. We chose the lysosome in part because of the health impact of many neurodegenerative diseases that result from defects in its function. We selected a simple unicellular organism, Baker's yeast, as our model system to study the lysosome because of the powerful genetic tools that are available in this organism. I am truly indebted to my graduate mentors at Harvard, Tom Silhavy and John Beckwith, as well as my postdoctoral mentors at the University of California, Berkeley, Randy Sheckman and Jeremy Thorner. They inspired me, encouraged me, and instilled in me an excitement for basic science. I have been fortunate to have worked with a long line of exceptionally talented students and postdocs whose insights and determination led to the discoveries being recognized by the Shaw Prize. I cannot thank each of them now individually, but I am extremely grateful for all their contributions and for their friendship. Last, but certainly not least, I must express my deep appreciation for my wife, Michelle, who made many sacrifices that allowed me to devote most of my time to my lab and my research. I also am very grateful for my two children, Brianna and Kevin, who endured their father's many distractions. I am so very proud of both of you. Thank you.
Congratulations, Professor Ammer, and thank you for your endless curiosity and resolute determination in answering the questions central to all living things. Today, we have traveled from magnetars that are thousands of light years away from planet Earth to the living cells that are nestled in our very own body. And now, we're landing on the final destination, the world of logic. I'm pleased to introduce the chairman of the selection committee for the Shaw Prize in Mathematical Sciences, Professor Timothy Gowers. He is professor of the combinatorics at the Collège de France. Professor Gowers, please.
Jean-Michel Bismuth and Jeff Cheeger were awarded the 2021 Shaw Prize in Mathematical Sciences for their remarkable work in geometry, one of the most ancient branches of mathematics, but also a central branch of mathematics today that is continuing to develop rapidly. The pivotal moment that marked the beginning of modern geometry was the solution to a famous problem left open by Euclid. One of Euclid's axioms, the parallel postulate, states that for every line in the plane, and every point not on that line, there is exactly one line through the point that does not meet the first line. But was the parallel postulate necessary, or did it follow from Euclid's other axioms? It was shown by Gauss, Bolyai and Lobachevsky that the parallel postulate was not redundant. They did this by constructing new non-Euclidean geometries, in which Euclid's other axioms held, but the parallel postulate was false. Moreover, these new geometries, far from being mere curiosities, turned out to have fundamental connections to many other parts of mathematics. From these ideas, thanks in particular to the work of Riemann, the concept of a manifold became central to geometry. A manifold can be thought of as a higher dimensional generalization of the notion of a surface in three-dimensional space. Manifolds are ubiquitous in mathematics and physics, and their study has led to remarkable developments and many fascinating open problems, such as the Poincaré conjecture, which was solved in 2006 after having been open for over 100 years. A very important development in the study of manifolds was the realization that their global topological quantities can often be calculated using local tools. For example, a famous theorem of Gauss and Bonnet states that the number of holes in a surface can be obtained by integrating the curvature, which is a local quantity. This idea has subsequently been vastly generalized, a particular highlight being the famous Atiyah-Singer index theorem from 1963, which led to an entire subfield of mathematics. Bismuth has played a central role in this subfield. In the early part of his career, he made profound contributions to probability theory that have had a major influence on the theory of mathematical finance. Later, he imported ideas from probability into index theory, reproving all the main theorems and vastly extending them, which enabled him to link index theory to other parts of mathematics. This has led to applications in areas as far afield as number theory and physics. A common feature of all his works is that, using index theory, he is able to prove explicit formulas for quantities that people would never have dared previously to try to compute. A major theme of modern geometry to which Cheeger has made profound contributions is to understand the impact of curvature on the structure of manifolds. Cheeger's work in this area has had a huge impact. For example, Perelman made essential use of it in his solution of the Poincaré conjecture. Cheeger is also a household name in combinatorics and theoretical computer science, owing to his introduction of what we now call the Cheeger constant, a discrete analogue of which has played an extremely important role in the study of random walks on graphs, which in turn has led to the development of profound algorithms for random sampling, integration in high dimensions, and many other applications. Bismuth and Cheeger have also worked together, and are particularly celebrated for their work on the so-called eta invariant. Over the last few decades, including right up to the present day, as well as solving long-standing open problems, they have introduced important new ideas and built tools that have greatly extended the range of what is possible in modern geometry, and as a result have transformed the subject.
Thank you, Professor Gowers. And also thank you to our 2 Shaw laureates in Mathematical Sciences 2021 for their remarkable insights that have transformed and continue to transform modern geometry. I shall now hand the floor to Professor Jean-Michel Bismuth, Emeritus Professor of the Mathematics Department at Université Paris-Saclay, France, for his acceptance speech. Professor Bismuth, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor for me, but also a great surprise, to receive the Shaw Prize in Mathematical Sciences 2021. I am deeply grateful to the Shaw Prize Foundation and its founder, Mr. Run Run Shaw, for having set up this prize to honor pure science. I'm also proud to appear in a list of prize recipients inaugurated in mathematics by Xing-Sheng Chen, the founder of modern differential geometry, whom I was fortunate to meet in person and also to share the prize with my dear friend and collaborator Jeff Cheeger. Mathematics has been the unique permanent activity of my adult life. It is an extraordinary occupation, difficult to penetrate for the non-practitioners. Mathematicians manipulate absolute truths and concepts valid in all times and civilizations. Thinking actively about mathematical objects ultimately creates new concepts and new truths. True statements pre-exist as vague possibilities, intensely brilliant in the limbo of still unborn ideas, made plausible by the analogies provided by the work of other mathematicians and also by contact with ever-present nature. I've been forced by fate and fortune to learn about various fields and have been happy to work from seemingly conflicting points of view. I was trained in probability theory and the calculus of variations, and also ventured into mathematical economics. Later, geometry became the predominant motivation. Random paths give a way to discover the underlying geometric object. These paths also form a bigger geometric object with new symmetries. Part of my work has been to build new objects that have some of the dream properties one could anticipate from their shadowy, more symmetric image in path spaces. Physics, its concepts and tools have been a permanent influence. Motivations originated from very different fields, as if certain mathematical questions were secretly encoded in another language I knew the words of without being sure about the sentences themselves. This created exhausting opportunities for discoveries and collaborations. I benefited from the extraordinary environment at the mathematics department of Orsay. I was fortunate to have been influenced by Paul Maliavin, Michael Atiyah, and Daniel Quillen. Among my collaborators, besides Jeff Chiga, I will mention Henri Gillet, Gilles Lebeau, and Christophe Soulet. I've also worked with wonderful students. My wife, family, and friends have given unfailing support to all of them. I'm infinitely grateful. Thank you.
Congratulations, Professor Bismuth, and thank you for your words that encourage us not only to think, but to think actively and relentlessly to bring unborn ideas to life. The next Shaw Laureate in Mathematical Sciences 2021 is Professor Jeff Cheeger, Silver Professor of Mathematics at the Courant Institute of Mathematical Sciences of New York University, USA. Professor Cheeger, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm extremely grateful to the Shaw Foundation and to its founders, Mr. and Mrs. Run Run Shaw, for their support for fundamental research and for my having been awarded the 2021 Shaw Prize in Mathematical Sciences. It's a particular pleasure to share this honor with my great friend and collaborator, Jean-Michel Bismuth. My deepest thanks to the selection committee for this wonderful recognition of my mathematical work. I was introduced to mathematics at the age of 7 by my father, who was a structural engineer. Soon I was hooked. The first friend with whom I could share my enthusiasm was Mel Hochster. Beyond all the mathematics I learned from them, my teachers Shlomo Sternberg, Raoul Bott, Salomon Bachner, and above all, Jim Simons were an inspiration. They conveyed the impression that being a mathematician was a little like being a member of a special order, an order into which one could hope one day to be initiated. I've had many brilliant collaborators, students, and mathematical friends. Collaborations, each one of them different, have been key to my enjoyment of mathematics. Along with its challenges and frustrations, working alone has its rewards as well. I started out by studying the connections between the curvature of smooth Riemannian manifolds and their geometry and topology. At the time, though the subject was still underdeveloped, enough tools had been accumulated so that it was poised to take off. For me, this circumstances amounted to a stroke of luck, since it offered the chance to participate. Although initially my viewpoint was very geometric, at a certain juncture I began learning more analysis. Indeed, geometry and analysis were becoming increasingly intertwined. Before long, analytic objects such as eigenvalues of the Laplacian, L2 harmonic forms, and global spectral invariance had entered my work. While the curvature of smooth Riemannian manifolds remained a central focus, more singular geometric objects, including piecewise flat pseudomanifolds, Gromov-Hausdorff limit spaces, and metric measure spaces also came into play. These arose naturally from the close connections between geometry, topology, and analysis. As with many mathematicians, I was struck early on by the fact that uniquely in mathematics, once something is proved, it is always known to be true. As a consequence, mathematics continually builds on itself. In this way, across race, time, and culture, mathematics exerts a high-level unifying influence on humanity. Finally, I want to thank my family, especially my wife Shirley, for their love and support.
Congratulations, Professor Cheeger. To some of us, mathematics could be difficult to understand. But as pointed out by Professor Cheeger and Professor Bismuth, it is indeed a universal language that exists beyond time and civilization, connecting the past with the present, the West with the East. We have come to the end of today's awards ceremony, and on behalf of the Shaw Prize, I would like to give out my warmest congratulations again to all of the Shaw laureates of 2021. The pandemic has brought to the fore the importance of science, academic researches, and applications in combating challenges posed to humankind. Our gratitude goes to all scientists, researchers, scholars, and everyone who has dedicated their lives to make our world a better place. We have witnessed numerous miracles in 2021 and hope that this time next year, we will finally be able to come together and honor new members of the Shaw family. Finally, if you would love to learn more about this year's Shaw Laureates' work and their academic journey, please do not miss the online Shaw Prize lectures that will start from tomorrow. Please visit our website for details. In addition, an exhibition on the work of the laureates will take place at the Hong Kong Science Museum from the 29th of October. For those who are interested, this is an opportunity you would not want to miss. Thank you, and see you next year.